First on Worcester News tonight, a tanker carrying gasoline crashes in Northbridge, taking down power lines and causing a dangerous situation. Plus, the heat wave continues, how people in central Massachusetts are trying to stay cool. Good evening and thank you for joining us. I'm Brittany Schaefer. A truck carrying 10,000 gallons of gasoline crashes into multiple vehicles Monday morning. A dozen state and local crews responded to the hazmat situation. Northbridge police say they believe the driver was distracted. A potentially dangerous accident on Linwood Avenue in Northbridge Monday morning left this tanker truck over an embankment.
Officers located the tractor-trailer, which was a gas tanker, down an embankment off of like a probably 15-foot wall into a yard. Underneath the tractor was one car crushed that had dragged from the road, and then off to the side was another car that had hit, which were both parked on Linwood Ave. The
tanker was carrying 10,000 gallons of gasoline and took down live wires. Northbridge Police Lieutenant Timothy Labrie says it created a hazmat situation.
We have to take the necessary precautions to unload it, which entails calling in the state hazmat team.
Thousands of residents in the area were without power for several hours. Jim Demers says it's not something he sees every day.
Community center, they said they lost power when the accident happened. But they evacuated, most of the houses. There's a crack in the tank or something, so you could smell gas quite a bit this morning.
This is certainly going to be a July 4th week that will be remembered in the little town of Northbridge.
Crews were on scene for more than 6 hours, safely transferring the gasoline to another tanker. Lieutenant Labrie says the high temperatures didn't make the hazmat situation any easier.
That's what's great about the fire departments. They have multiple units, rescue units. You have the state police command centers here from the hazmat and the fire services. Hydrate, a lot of water today.
After investigating, Northbridge police say distracted driving was a factor in the crash. They say the driver spilled his coffee right before hitting the two parked cars. Luckily, the driver only sustained minor injuries. Temperatures hitting the 90s for the third day in a row now. The heat wave causing central Massachusetts residents to find ways to stay cool. And doctors say this weather can be dangerous for children and the elderly. Our Chandler Walsh joins us live now with more. Chandler.
Brittany, the sun is still beaming down strong out here, and whether indoors or outdoors, one thing on everyone's mind is keeping cool. Families splash around at Crompton Park Pool in Worcester, trying to get relief from the high temperatures.
Burns my feet. I'm very hot, but the pool cools me down, so it's pretty good.
The city of Worcester is warning parents to remember summer safety tips like supervising children around water and protecting their skin. It comes as more children are outdoors and in the hot sun.
They like being here. They don't like being in the house, of course. It's summertime, so they do drag me out.
Parents at the pool say they're protecting their kids in the heat wave by regularly applying sunscreen and making sure they're drinking enough water. And they say playing in the water is the secret to happy and healthy kids.
Go to the sprinkler parks, balloon fights, water guns, the old school hose.
Towns across the county are offering indoor alternatives to beat the heat. Southborough Senior Center opened as a cooling center all day Monday. Public health nurse Leslie Chamberlain says the heat is more dangerous for seniors.
Definitely the elderly and anybody who has a heart condition and difficulty breathing. The heavy air is really a danger to them.
Chamberlain says the center also helps seniors install air conditioning units so they can be comfortable in their own homes, and say it's necessary to stay hydrated.
Water's the best, not caffeinated beverages, or if you drink caffeinated beverages, that's fine, but you should offset it with a good amount of water. And just avoid exertion, rest, stay home, watch TV, read a book.
Chamberlain also says to make sure any air conditioning units are set to a neutral temperature to prevent a possible power shortage. Brittany?
Thank you, Chandler. Stay cool out there. Treating the heat with something sweet. It's been a busy few days at Gibby's Famous Ice Cream in Worcester. Manager Justine Panucci says the ice cream shop is a popular spot during a heat wave like this one. She says they've added more staff on the schedule to serve everyone as quickly as possible and keep the lines down.
People love ice cream on hot days, no matter if it's dripping all over them, anything like that. They love to come here. I think it's more about the fun aspect of it. Even waiting in line, people just love to come, look at our menu, look at everything, the new stuff we have.
Panucci expects Gibbies to stay busy all week long. The city of Worcester preparing for its 4th of July fireworks celebration Monday. Crews were at Cristoforo Columbus Park throughout the day, moving speakers into place and setting up tents. The event, hosted by Fallon Health and the Worcester Regional Chamber of Commerce, expects a crowd of around 30,000 people this evening. Organizers say families can expect much more than just fireworks.
We get the police and fire together to, coordinate, make sure this is a safe event, nobody gets hurt, and enjoy some fireworks with some good food and some entertainment today, so that'll be fun. We do have the Mass Symphony Orchestra performing starting at 8 o'clock.
It's a free community event. We look forward to it every year. It's a great opportunity for everyone to gather together and celebrate our independence. And what better place than right in Cristoforo Columbus Park, right here in Worcester.
Festivities have now already begun, with the fireworks kicking off at 9:30 tonight. Millions of drivers across the country are set to hit the roads this holiday week. Here in Worcester County, the Great Getaway has already begun. Our Rosalind Flaherty joins us now with the details. Rosalind?
A record number of people will hit the road this week for the 4th of July. AAA is projecting about 47 million Americans will get behind the wheel over the holiday.
Falls in the middle of the week, so more people can go either the first weekend or the second weekend, so it gives them more options.
AAA Public Affairs Specialist Drew Carlson says gas prices are down 3 cents this week in Massachusetts, which is good news for travelers.
We're coming down from the high 290s that we had earlier in late May.
Carlson says the busiest time on the roads will be Tuesday from 3:30 to 6:30 p.m. Travelers who stopped at the Charlton Service Plaza say they are trying to avoid those times and say they didn't experience any backups Monday morning.
Pretty good. They're rolling smooth.
Heading westbound, things seem to be okay, but I know that it'll become a calamity once we get closer to New York City.
They say they have a few tricks of their own to get to their holiday destination on time.
Start early and drive long.
We use Waze, so it tells us it avoids traffic and gives alternate routes.
Try to stay in the middle of the day. Stay out of rush hour time.
Now, AAA says the high heat can damage your car battery, and they've seen a big spike in battery calls, so their advice is to check your car battery before you head out. Rosalind Flaherty, Worcester News Tonight.
And as Rosalind reported, Massachusetts drivers are experiencing lower gas prices this week. The price of gasoline in the state is down 3 cents this week. AAA says the average cost is now $2.84, which is 1 cent below the nation's average. But it's not all good news, because the average cost is 66 cents higher than it was at this time last year. Traffic backs up on the Mass Pike Monday afternoon. State police sharing these photos of a tractor trailer overturned off the side of the eastbound lane. This was right before exit 11 in Millbury. Police say the right lane was closed for several hours. Luckily, there were no injuries. The Cannabis Control Commission okays the state's first retail marijuana shop, issuing a provisional license to a company who already operates a medical facility in Leicester. The town worked out a host agreement with Cultivate in April, allowing the license to move forward. Abby Nizgoda has the details.
We're very excited, to be the first.
25 years old and now the owner of the first pot shop in the state to get the license needed to sell it.
Commissioner Title.
Aye. The Cannabis Control Commission voting unanimously to award the first retail license for recreational use to Sam Barber's company, Leicester-based Cultivate.
In terms of having the ability to do it, we're ready to go.
He took us on a tour of the Central Massachusetts facility last week. It's already a medical dispensary, and even with this vote, it'll stay that way for now.
Well, you still can't walk into Cultivate and buy it today. Why is that?
A few more details that the CCC is working on. ironing out, but I feel like we are getting a lot closer.
Those details include having an independent lab to test their products, but those labs need licenses too, and so far none have them. The chairman says they're being careful not to rush a highly complicated process.
We are doing this right. We are doing this in the long term. There is no legislative mandate that pot stores were going to be open on July 1st.
Barber says he's confident the first cannabis sold in the Commonwealth will come from Cultivate, and soon.
I feel like we're ready. Our team has been working very hard, and I'm hopeful in the next few weeks.
Cultivate hopes to be selling by September. However, no one on the commission wanted to comment about any sort of target date. They only told us that they have about 60 other applications to consider, and they hope to approve a few licenses at each of their meetings. In Boston, I'm Abby Nesgoda, Worcester News Tonight.